SpotlightMediaStudios.com. Welcome to Education Unfiltered. Here is Mary Stucco.
Hello, this is Mary Stucco with Education Unfiltered, where we talk about all things higher ed. And today I have Nicole Reinhart-Hubberty with the Technical Careers Program Improvement Manager at Lansing Community College. Today we're going to be talking about Lansing Community College's Technical Careers Division and the work that's being done to resume courses and the efforts being made to recruit diverse students into career and technical education. So welcome to Education Unfiltered. Nicole, how are you today?
Thank you so much, Mary. I'm doing very well. Happy to be here.
Great. Well, let's just get right into it and discuss how you guys are approaching the resumption of classes, suspended classes. What does it look at LCC in the technical division?
Sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to talk about that. So when the college first announced that we'd be going virtual, Technical Careers Division quickly took action to figure out what it would look like to transition to online, as well as find a path to safely resume for face-to-face instruction. One of the first things we did was to develop a resumption team, and we started developing safety plans. Almost everyone in our division contributed in one way or another with getting all the pieces to the safety plans in place. And so little by little, we started adding to the safety plans and editing the safety plans. And as updated information came down from the governor, we would adjust, and we continued to work on them. At this point, the students and faculty have been incredible in helping us to do what we need to do to be safe. And so basically, we took all these initial steps to build our safety plans, and we're able to bring those forward to be reviewed by the board. And we were very fortunate in that our first program to be resumed was the Police Academy. And that being approved basically kind of set the bar for our other programs to be reviewed. We had such an urgent interest in getting our students back, but we knew that the priority was to do so only if we could do it safely. So in total, basically what we're doing is we've had a series of people who were working on the safety plans and connecting with faculty to know whatever PPE might be necessary for the courses, what the sanitation protocols have to look like in spaces that students are using and staff is using. And many of those, as you can imagine, are very specific to the kind of class instruction that's happening. We've talked about how to do lecture capture, so to be in a different space and have a faculty instructing and then having that projecting to a different space to help out with that physical distancing piece to things. And so as we've been able to resume, we realize that it is a big responsibility to get it right. And so one of the things that we've done is develop a safety orientation. So faculty and staff have to go through a safety orientation to understand the protocols in place and how to be safe when they resume. And so before people get to campus, they have to do a safety screen, or when they first get to campus, we can help them to complete their safety screen. We have to see proof that they've completed that, and then each time people enter the building, we have them sign into a log so that we're making sure we know exactly who's on campus. So those are some of the big steps that we've taken to help people get back into the buildings, but it's went incredibly well so far. In fact, there was a day where we had a fire alarm and everyone had to evacuate the building. So a true test of what that looks like when some kind of unpredictable thing happens like that. But much to our appreciation, students kept their masks on even while outside, and when they entered the building, lifted up their cell phones to show their previous safety screens, because if we don't know if someone has done it or not, we always have to see their safety screen when they're resuming. And so everyone was excellent about that and really maintained that standard. So that was really great to see.
That's wonderful. So I know a lot of this can change because we're still learning how to deal with this and, working through protocols. But you mentioned a little bit about a safety screen. Mm-hmm. So does that mean that they're doing that online before they come to class?
So people have the option. Students can complete their safety screening online at home before they even show up to class. Some people get to campus and sit in the parking lot and get it completed on their phone, and other people do it as they're entering the building before they go in, basically at the entry point to the building. So there's a few different ways that people can do that. I have found I like to sit in the parking lot and get mine done just before I walk into the building, and then I just hold up my phone as I enter and then sign in.
So what does that entail as far as verifying? Is you're just answering health questions that day?
Yeah. Yep. So there's a series of health questions that are asked. Some of them are related to you individually and how you're feeling that day, and then others are, if you've been around anyone that has been exposed to COVID.
Very good. Now, what are some of these safety plans with the face-to-face classes, like the law enforcement program? What are they doing as part of their plan?
Sure. So I would say a common thread with all the safety plans is that they identify the physical distancing, so how that looks in terms of the type of instruction that's happening. This can be done by, making markers on the floor or otherwise setting tables or instructional spaces up a certain way so that they're spaced. That's one of the big things that's being done. And so other things would be if there's opportunity to do outdoor instruction, depending again on the type of course and what's being instructed, those are great options of the moment. Other things are just going to be, it depends on, again, what kind of work is being done. If students are going to be very close together, we all know based on a particular area's safety plan, if masks are going to be required, if a shield would be required, if the standard PPE that's already for that class would be sufficient, because in some cases they were already using PPE, and so that might have already been a protocol that was there that we may or may not have had to add more to.
Okay, very good. So far it sounds like it's going pretty good. I know I've heard aviation's already also meeting in person.
Yes, yep. Again, they were one of our first programs to be approved for resumption, and it was just really important. We have so many graduates with great opportunities waiting for them. It was really a priority for us to find a way to resume, but again, just as important as resuming, if not more important, would be safety. So if we couldn't do so safely, we weren't going to go for it, but we really wanted to find that balance between resuming and doing so in a safe, responsible manner.
Very good. Now discuss the work that's being done for diversity and inclusion.
Sure. I would be glad to talk about that. This year, in fact, we did host our second annual Tech Forward Women in Trades event. So this event allows women to hear from a panel of instructors, employers, and other women in trades. They also, in that program, had an opportunity to meet faculty and learn more about our programs. In fact, we had a second planned event that we were really excited about called Tech Forward Men of Color in Trades and Technology that we had planned, but unfortunately, due to the college moving virtually, we had to cancel that event. FYI, though, we do plan to revive it in a virtual format this fall, which I'm really excited about. We had a great degree of interest for that, and we were really disappointed we couldn't offer it, but at the time, it wasn't viable.
Very good. Now, can you let's go into a little bit more detail about what kind of classes that LCC offers in the technical trades? Like, what does that look like? We've talked a little bit about law enforcement and aviation. What else can students look for?
Sure. There's a great degree of opportunity within technical careers. Even within trades specifically, we've got manufacturing, we've got construction, architecture, welding, computer automated design, and let's see, I'm trying to think of the ones that are really impacted right now too. I think in general, a lot of the trades classes are probably the ones that we're already used to seeing, but one of the other programs that I think is really neat is our geospatial program, in terms of, I feel like it's a program not a lot of people know about or what that is, and I think in fact we have a few programs that are like that. And so getting opportunities to talk to people about these things and show them what opportunities we have. But we offer many of the trades that you would expect, HVAC, construction management. There's plenty of opportunities for students to attend LCC and pursue that as a certificate or an associate, or for many people, they receive those certificates and associates and then go on to build their education and their career further beyond that.
Excellent. So do you see any big other changes taking place? Are you looking to see many of those courses coming back in the fall, at least part-time in the classroom? Do you think pretty much all of them will, or only certain ones?
So at this point in time, we are hopeful that we're going to be able to offer the online components to our fall classes, and we are writing our safety plans as if we will have students physically on campus. And so right now we're in a planning stage and putting the pieces in place to describe what it's going to look like. But yes, we are asking ourselves questions like how much of this course could be instructed online? What are ways that we could structure or modularize classes so that we can mix around when and how we offer different components of it? I think it's forced a flexibility of thinking, and in the end, we might be better for it, but it is having us to really look at how we deliver classes and to find out if there's more opportunities there than we've explored previously.
Right. So it sounds like a lot of students going into trades can probably look at having maybe a little bit of face-to-face instruction, but then also plan on doing part of it online. Like it would not look like it used to, where it's all going to be face-to-face, most likely.
I think in general, yes, we need to consider that the trades and other CTE programs need those hands-on components. I think we can't really get around that to a certain extent. We must be able to deliver those hands-on things. But yes, I'm thinking that in general what it's looking like is it is going to be this hybrid combination. Mm-hmm. And you know, how that's delivered per course might look really different, or that the ratio of how that's delivered might look different per course. But in general, I think we're really looking at how much of it can be delivered online and how much of it must be delivered in person.
Yeah, so you're just pretty much taking it class by class and individualizing it for each one?
We're trying to, when we build our safety plans, be considerate of the courses and the components of the courses and thinking about the physical space and how much students' time would need to be able to resume. So each program area has to develop a safety plan, and so those are being looked at specific to each area.
Very good. So how would students find out more information about the programs?
Sure. So depending on what kind of program they're looking at, most of the technical careers programs should be within the West Campus page, but aviations, because they are not at the West Campus, they are at a separate campus, their information is on their program page. Or a student can simply look on the LCC website under degrees and programs, and there is an option there to sort by campus. So if someone prefers to see offerings just at one campus or another. But we are, to the greatest extent possible, keeping up-to-date information on the website as well. So right now there's some guidance for students who are in resumed spring courses. And we've already also, at the college, had a page developed talking about fall and the offerings for fall and what that's going to look like.
So you, with spring semester, because of course now we're in summer semester, you actually had some that ended in spring, but you resumed them to finish up?
Yes. So when the college made the decision to move virtually, there were many students in trades and hands-on courses that were not finished at that point in time. And so they transitioned to online, completed as much that could be done online. And essentially, we all had to wait until we knew if a safety plan would be approved, at which point, once the respective safety plans were approved, we started outreach to students to let them know that their program is back, to check their D2L account for updates from their instructors. The faculty have been incredible because they're helping to offer long hours for students to come in and complete the lab work, trying to be as flexible as possible so that students can get back in and finish.
Yeah, and I think a good thing to remember is like with aviation and stuff, they have other entities they have to answer to as far as certifications. So it's not just LCC saying, well, we're just going to do it this way. You have to meet the guidelines for these certain certifications. And it, like you said, it can't all be online. So it really requires a lot of creativity on your end.
It does, yes. And we want to stay on great terms with our partnerships that we have worked so hard to cultivate. And so we want to do everything that we can to, maintain the standards that we have to answer to and that our entities that we work with have to answer to as well.
Absolutely. So, Nicole, if people who have further questions, can you give us an exact website or phone number that they can contact for information about your program?
Sure. I would just recommend if you look up lcc.edu and then do a search for West Campus, it should get you most of what you need. But otherwise, we can always be reached at our divisional office and help out with any questions people have.
Very good. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is Mary Stucco with Education Unfiltered.